Namanda, 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 Namamida, Namamida, Namamida. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us on the first day of November. I hope everybody had a safe and happy Halloween. I know me and my family did. It was pretty cool. So I'm glad that you guys were able to join us this morning for our first Sunday service of November here at the Salinas Buddhist Temple. My name is David Correia. I'm the Minister's Assistant for the Monterey Peninsula Buddhist Temple, and it's a pleasure to be here. Our opening reading, if you'll please join me in God's show. The light of compassion illumes us always, and the darkness of our ignorance is already broken through. Yet the clouds and mists of greed, desire, anger, and hatred always obscure the sky of true faith. But though the light of the sun is veiled by clouds of mist, below them there is still brightness. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you. This morning's sutra chanting will begin with Sambu Jo on page 24 of your service book, followed by Jusei Ge on page 93. Ishi mujodo Shigan fumanzo Sefujo shoga Kao muryoko Fui taiseshu Fusai shobingu Sefujo shoga Kashi jobutsudo Yosho chojepo Hukyo mishomon Sefujo shoga Ryokujin shonen Joeshu bongyo Shigumu jodo Isho tenninshi Jindiki endai ko Usho musaido Shoujo sankumyo Kosai shuyakunan Haichi egen Meshi konmoan Esokusho akudo Sudatsuzen shumon Kosojo ma This time, if you please join me in the Gatha Shinran Sama on page 240. Threefold Refuge on page 10 of your source book. Difficult is it to receive a human form, now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the Dharma of the Buddha, now we hear it. If we do not cross over to the truth in the present life, and what life shall we cross over? Let us with sincerity and true reverence take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we, together with all sentient beings, awaken to the great way of enlightenment and to the unsurpassed intent of Amida Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. may we, together with all sentient beings, enter the storehouse of the Dharma, becoming like the wisdom ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we, together with all sentient beings, become units in true accord and harmony with all things. The peerless, profound, and wondrous Dharma is rare to encounter, even in many hundreds of thousands of kalpas. Now we are privileged to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Dolos. Thank you. Once again, join me in Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Dolos. Once again, thank you. Good morning. Ohayou gozaimasu. It's a pleasure to be here again, like I said earlier. So this morning I wanted to talk about something that's pretty important in my family, and I'm sure it's important to you. So every morning when I wake up, one of the things I do is listen to music. This morning, that was one of the first things as I was getting ready, was putting on some music just to get myself going for the day. Depending on my mood, I might listen to some swing music, old school hip hop, oldies, alternative rock, or believe it or not, classical or opera. When my friends hear me playing classical or opera, they kind of do that second glance like, what are you listening to? I didn't know you listened to that. But even classical or opera, everything is in there. So when my daughter and I used to drive to school before all this, we started doing distance learning. When we used to go to school, we used to listen to the music, and it would get pretty crazy. We would listen to let's get motivated for school kind of music. Groups like Rage Against the Machine, Frank Sinatra, Post Malone, Johnny Cash, Sublime, or the Beastie Boys. Music is such a huge part of our lives. Every day we hear music, whether it's on the radio, streaming from our phones, played over the speakers of a store intercom system, or coming from a passing car. It is there surrounding us at all times. Even a faint sound of bass can sometimes be heard at night, maybe from the passing of a car, like I said earlier. There might be a party celebrating someone's birthday, a wedding, anniversary, or even remembering a loved one who had just passed. I know in my family, when we've had relatives that have passed away, it's, we remember them and what way to remember them, but with the music they loved. A lot of my uncles and, loved oldies music, so we would listen to oldies music and just have a blast and remember them. When my grandmother, we would sit there and play mariachi music to remember her, because that's the music that she loved, and that helped us remember her more. So music is there for us in so many ways. When we are in love, we hear the love songs speak to us more. The lyrics from the songs reflect on how we are so much in love. To those same songs making us cry and reminding us of the bad breakup we just had. To hearing songs like We Will Rock You by Queen at a sports game. The crowd getting pumped up for their favorite teams like, I'm going to say it, the Las Vegas Raiders, the San Jose Sharks, and the San Jose Barracudas. The stomping of feet and clapping of hands fill the arena or stadiums with the anticipation of the battle of two teams. Of course, each generation always saying, music isn't the same anymore as it was back in my day. But is it really not the same though? Yes, the beats are different, the lyrics are different. We could sit here all day and discuss which genre or which decade is better. But in reality, doesn't it still do the same thing as it did before? Does our music not touch us, all of us, the same way? Our music tastes may be different, but the outcome is the same. So my wife and I were listening to the Beastie Boys book that came out a few months ago on the Audible app. So for those of you that don't know, the Beastie Boys were a rap group formed in the 80s. What you might not also know is that one of the Beastie Boys was actually Buddhist. So as a kid, I remember hearing them for the first time in middle school. I had just moved to Stockton, California to live with my aunt and uncle while my dad was stationed in Correia. I remember cruising in my cousin's 67 Mustang on, I think it was Pacific Street, cruising up and down. The bass from the Beastie Boys songs pushing through his 12-inch woofers sitting in his truck. And that's probably why my hearing is bad today. So thank you, cousin. But I still remember like it was yesterday. Now here we are decades later, and my wife and I are listening to them talk about their lives and history of the band. My wife and I are remembering things like how we made mixtapes by putting a microphone next to the radio, or being lucky enough to have a double cassette player to make the recording. These memories were all brought on by one thing, and that is music. Stevie Wonder said, "Music at its existence is what gives us memories. And the longer a song has existed in our lives, the more memories we have of it." So how does music affect us as Buddhists? Music is always there for us, just like Amida Buddha. It surrounds us in times of sadness, despair, happiness. It is a truth. The truth that there is a constant change in this world. Sometimes our music reminds us of the truth of the suffering in this world, but it can remind us of the happiness and compassion also. When we hear certain lyrics, it's like they are speaking to us. Music brings people together. People that wouldn't even give each other a second look on the streets. So there's this video on YouTube that you should really check out. So what they did was they took a camera and they put it on the stage in the back. So while the crew was getting all of Green Day's equipment all set up, drums, guitars, everything else, the camera was showing this, but it also showed the entire crowd. So keep in mind, at concerts, everybody has one thing in common, and that's pretty much that they like Green Day. You might have people that have some similarities, but the similarities aren't much. So what they usually do as they're prepping for these concerts is they start to blur out music for people to listen to, just to kind of kill the time. So what's cool about this video, and like I said, you have to check it out, is the song, and I'm sure you know it, Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen starts blaring over the speakers. So all of a sudden this song kicks in, and before you know it, everybody in the audience is starting to sing this song. You know the lyrics, I'm not going to sing them unless I was with my daughter, then we always sing them every single time we're in the car. So here we have all these people are singing the lyrics, and it just becomes this one unit of people. It doesn't matter, these people are now unified, regardless of their religion, gender, sexual orientation, race, political views, or backgrounds. What mattered was one thing, was singing their heart out to this one song. When they start jumping up and down towards the second verse, when it gets all pumped up, they're all moving together. And they're just having a blast. Nothing mattered at that moment, but just them having a good time and being together as one. For that one moment, hundreds of people were just on one goal, and that was just for this one song and to sing. So music doesn't only come through speakers, but it surrounds us in our daily lives. The sound of children playing and laughing, birds singing, the sound of raindrops as they hit our windows, the sounds of the wind as it blows through the trees. You just have to listen. So when we chant, we fill the room with a melodic sound. A sound that, just like in that concert, unifies us as a sangha. That's one thing that I do miss about having Sunday service, with everybody here, is the sound. You know what I'm talking about, where there's just this sound that just fills you. You feel, through the chanting, and when we sing the gathas, and there's just a sound that hits you in your chest, and you remember, especially me being up here, it reminds me why I'm doing this. It reminds me that we all come together, and especially with music and the chanting, it just makes us all one. Reverend Jay always used to tell me, I remember when I first started going to temple over in Monterey, Reverend Jay talked to everyone because it would always be quiet and nobody would be singing or chanting. People kind of, it goes through your mind at the beginning, who's chanting better? Are they better than me? But you have to overlook that. It's about you and just being one with what else? The music. Being one with what else? Amida Buddha. We're not here to judge you. Nobody's here to judge you. Just let that music come from you. Let it flow. So Dick Clark had said, music is the soundtrack to your life. So whatever your soundtrack is for your life, enjoy every beat, every lyric. It's there for you. You just have to listen. Please join me in God. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you. We will now do, if you will now join me in the Gatha on Doksan 2 on page 220. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandavats. We will now have announcements followed by the closing reading.
Thank you, David, for doing this service, and I hope everybody hadn't forgot to set the clock back, otherwise you'll probably be missing this one. And I'd like to thank Correia for the Osanai today. A reminder, November 15th is our Shochiki service combined with the BWA memorial service. We are studying the Keirokai mask. I don't know if you've seen it on our newsletter. We still have 100 extra, and we like to sell them for $5, which is about the cost. It's actually, we'll get about less than $1 profit. So anyway, if you'd like to have these masks, please let Mariko know. She has the masks. Last thing is a reminder, the elections of course is Tuesday. Please vote. If you have an absentee ballot, you need to deliver it to the election office, wherever that might be, but not to the post office. Basically that's it. Stay safe, and please practice safe distance and wear masks. Wash your hands. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So please join me in the closing reading. Please join me in God's show for the closing reading. In the long night of ignorance, it is the torch. The wisdom eye is in darkness, yet do not sorrow. In the vast sea of birth and death, it is the raft. The hindrance of karma weighs heavy, yet do not grieve. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. So that concludes today's service here in Salinas. I'd like to once again say thank you to Salinas for being so kind to me when I come over here. It's great. The setup is amazing, and I'm very grateful for everything from you. Once again, please make sure you go and vote. We have that freedom here in this country, to express our views and opinions through voting. So please make sure that you go out there and vote and let your voice be heard. Please stay safe. Please take care of each other, take care of your communities, and take care of your family. With that, I hope you have a great day. Thank you. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you.